Hey everyone. Hey Ace, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I'm super excited today as well for this particular live stream. So if this is your first time tuning in, basically this is a weekly live stream that we do. We're both developer advocates from TBD, and we essentially talk to different experts within the SSI industry, within like the global payments industry, to learn more about what they're doing,
Hmm.
and to learn more about these different new concepts. So the reason I'm excited is because we have Jeff from Dentity, and he was the reason I reached out to him in the first place is because I was listening to this podcast he was on called The Future of Identity, and I really liked all of the stuff that he was saying. He was like, people need to talk less and build more, and I really agree with that. So I'm gonna go ahead and like just bring him up on the stage. Hey
Hello,
Jeff.
Jeff.
Hey, how are you guys doing? Good morning. Happy
We're
Friday.
good. How are you
TGIF.
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Thanks.
Yeah. Hello to everybody in the audience. Hello, Angie. Hello, Light Coda. To everybody on LinkedIn, Twitter. Thank you for joining us. Hello. But yeah, talk less, build more. Before you get back to building, today we're gonna get you to talk a little bit about yourself and also what you're building. And then
Yeah.
once you're done, you can go back to building more.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I agree. And to start off the conversation, I was talking about this backstage. This is just, a little warm up for the audience and for us. What Valentine's Day is coming up. What are your thoughts on it? Do you think this is just like some capitalist creation? Do you think it's a valuable holiday?
Uh-huh. I honestly, I think it was a creation by my wife, my beautiful bride of 31 years, who by the way will be celebrating our 35th, 31st wedding anniversary on Valentine's Day. So I honestly I think
Wow.
that from my perspective I get to kind of kill two birds with one stone, anniversary and Valentine's Day. So it's for me it's an economically efficient holiday. So I'm fine with Valentine's Day this year. It works just fine.
You're
That
saving
is
them.
awesome.
Yeah, it's
Congratulations,
great.
by the
Yeah,
way.
31 years is a long time.
What about you, Ace? What you think?
I'm neither here nor there. It depends on the year, I guess.
Hmm. Depends how much money you have to spend, Ace. Depends how expensive it's going to be for you.
I guess so. That determines if it's
Yeah,
a good one or a bad one.
yeah.
How about you, Rizel?
I'm always here for it. Okay, but that was our little warm
And
up.
by the way, every day is Valentine's Day for Rizel.
Yes,
True that.
Every day.
True
exactly.
that.
That's right.
She
And
has
my
balloons in the
Every day
background.
she celebrates love and happiness. That's good.
yes, and I celebrate saving my money too. My okay, so that was a nice little warm up. I'd love for you to like introduce yourself, Jeff. For folks who don't know who you are.
Okay, so my name is Jeff Schwartz. I'm the founder and CEO of Dentity. We're based in Santa Monica, California. I've been in the internet and doing kind of web products for about 25 years now. I started my career at Disney. Well, back up. I have a bachelor's, master's, and PhD doctorate from USC, University of Southern California. Started my career at Disney doing corporate business development. Got interested in the internet in the 90s. We took my first company was Autobytel, which was an automotive internet, which I was CEO of. We took that public in '99, and so I'm old enough to kind of remember when the internet was just getting started. Um, I've been CEO of 4 public companies. I've done I don't know how many startups, but many, maybe 2 dozen, maybe more. And so I've learned I have a lot of life lessons, both the good and the bad. And you know, at 58, it gives me an opportunity to, when I start a new company, with this level of maturity, both successes and failures. Hopefully, I don't repeat the mistakes of the past. And so, one of the things I'll likely talk about is, the things that I've learned about along the way about really how to build products and how to build companies and how to do startups. And so, and I teach as well. I have an opportunity to go back and talk about this kind of stuff to business school students.
That is that is amazing. I have so many
That's fun.
questions, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna try not to ask too many because I
Uh-huh.
think in my experience, it's a lot to find someone that's taken academia so far to PhD level, and at the
Yeah.
same time has built so many things, because
Yeah.
it's usually like trying to balance
Yeah.
best of both worlds. And you did
Yeah.
mention you teach, but that makes a lot of sense, because
Mhm.
I think the first question for me is like, 'cause I like to go back, because I wasn't there when the internet really started, so I like
Yeah.
to see different people's perspective on how was the acceptance like what was the perception in that moment where I heard about the internet for the first time.
Well,
What
I mean,
did you
this
see?
is this is the thing, Rizel. It was a very interesting time, right? This is in the late '90s. Okay, so I had this idea that that the internet was going to change the way people bought and sold cars, um, and particularly, the internet is amazing at balancing asymmetric information, right? When I have
Mhm.
information and you don't, and so one of the first things that we did at Adewale was we were the first to publish invoice pricing, the invoice price of a vehicle, right? You take for granted today when you go on the internet and you see all the prices of the cars. Back then, people didn't have access to that information. And do you know what the average gross profit on a car sale was back in the 90s? The average gross
20K?
profit was 10 or 12%. 10 or 12%. You know what it is today? It's 1%, 2%, sometimes negative gross margin. So my point, Ace, is that the internet is phenomenal at balancing asymmetric information and giving consumers the type of information that they otherwise didn't have. Back to your real question. I used to travel around the country in the 90s, and I would go to the Holiday Inn and little cities, and I would meet with car dealers, okay? And I would do a presentation. I would say, this is a mouse, this is a mouse, okay? You plug it into your computer, and you plug your computer into the phone line. And dealers would say, like, oh, wait, I don't understand that, right? And you don't remember this noise, but there's this old noise that the modem used to make, the 56
The
kilobit
dial-up,
modem.
yeah.
Yeah, the dial-up modem, when it was connecting to AOL. And it was that really funny noise. And so I would give this presentation and I would say, the internet's a big thing, and you have to be connected to the internet, and we can help you get these consumers. And after the presentation, invariably, some big car dealers would come up to me and they'd sort of, in a patronizing sort of way, put their hand around me and they say, son, you don't understand. This thing called the internet is not going to be anything big. It's not going anywhere. What really matters, the most important thing, is how big your ad is in the Sunday newspaper. That's the most important thing. And when you realize that, then you're going to be successful. So that's a little, obviously a little story, but obviously the internet has entirely revolutionized our world. The point I make about gross margin, the gross profits in the car business, the internet has saved consumers billions of dollars in car sales, in car prices. So the internet's incredibly powerful, particularly when it comes to asymmetric information.
100%. 100%. I used to wonder how people survive without Google, search engines,
Yes.
digital books.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
basically just sums up what you just shared.
Ace, when I was at Disney, we used to carry these little pagers, these little beepers. I don't even know if you know what if you've seen them, but there was these little beepers that they clipped onto your belt loop. And when somebody needed to reach you, they paged you, and you would look at it and you would say, oh, somebody's calling me. And then you'd have to go to a payphone. You would have to go to a payphone and return the phone call.
That is crazy.
It's come a long way.
Or text message. Okay, so I love that, like, background that you worked at Disney and like your thoughts on the internet. I'm curious what like drew you to self-sovereign identity, decentralized identity, and then also I was on your LinkedIn and you put Web 5 identity. Like,
yes, I did that for you this week. I did that.
Oh, you
Rizel,
did?
I did that for you. I did that for you as a present for you. Yes.
Oh my God, I love
it.
it.
Yes. As a present for you, I did this week because I've really, honestly, this is the moment when I pivot from Web 3 to Web 5. Today is when I go from Web 3 to Web 5, and specifically because of this.
I love
it. So the question is, why am I doing this? Right?
Yes.
And why did I create an SSI company, or decentralized identity company? So the answer is, I don't think too much about decentralized identity and SSI. Like, I didn't wake up and say, I want to create an SSI company. I want to create a blockchain company. I call these people tourists, tech tourists, right? When in the 90s, everybody wanted to create an internet company. And then everybody wanted to create an e-commerce company. And then everybody wanted to create a blockchain company. And now everybody wants to do an AI company. Those people are tourists. What happens is they come not to solve a problem, but to use the technology. And that's the wrong way to think about it. I have an investor presentation or an overview presentation about the company. I don't mention blockchain once. The word blockchain is not in our presentation once. And the reason why is because blockchain is incidental to solving the problem that consumers experience. And we're specifically, I'll tell you about what we do. But my point is that I didn't come to self-sovereign identity or decentralized identity. I wanted to solve a problem. And the problem that I wanted to solve as a business owner was I was selling a lot of cars on the internet. I have a call center with 100 people in it, and we're buying and selling private party cars all day long. And the problem that we face always is that everybody on the internet is not who they say they are, right? And there's scams and there's all kinds of fakers. And the thing that I did is I looked around and I said, okay, as a business owner, what is preventing me from selling more cars to more people? And unequivocally, it was this friction around fake identity and trying to create counterparty trust between people on the internet, right? And just as a sidebar, the internet, the original sin, there's two original sins of the internet. One is no money, two is no identity. Okay, so the internet originally was created, TCP/IP protocol to connect anonymous machines to each other. Okay, and because of that, Rizel, all the people like me that have been building internet, products for 25 years, we've had to create our own identity layer. Okay, and what happens is that how many passwords do you have in your password keeper? 200, 300,
Yeah.
400, 500, right? So that is the problem. That attack surface, right? Every internet site having to create its own identity layer. That's a main reason why we have so much identity theft. Okay, so that's kind of the big issue. So the thing that I wanted to do is create a product that allowed people to verify each other using enterprise grade, bank level, like best in class technology, the best technology in the world. Now the problem is today, all that technology is available only to the enterprise, right? We go on all these websites and they say, oh, you have to verify your identity, or a bank site or whatever, you onboard. They do that to us, right? And they save all that data in their Web 2 database. Now their Web 2 database ultimately gets cracked and all that identity information gets lost. But what's the use of that? There's zero use for that. Like, why don't you give that identity information to consumers and let them exchange it and verify each other, right? So we had this radical idea that we could give consumers the best tech in the world, the same tech that enterprises use. We had this idea that they could do it to each other, right? Because think about the internet today. The internet today is a peer-to-peer internet. It's a people-to-people internet. I mean, do you know that the sharing economy is going to be $1 trillion economy in the next 10 years? It's about a $500 billion economy today. So think about this. The people-to-people internet, right? The people-to-people internet is going to be among the largest sectors in the economy in the next 10 years, right? Think about this. In the United States, in the next 5 years, over 50% of the people are going to be gig economy employees or contractors. Over 50% of all workers are going to be doing gig economy or contract work. So this is where the economy is going, right? So in order for us to maintain that trust in sort of this sort of peer-to-peer internet, you have to have identity. Trust is the requirement for commerce. No trust, no commerce, right? So we've built this application, this web app. Hundreds of thousands of consumers use it. Thousands of people sign up every day. They verify. You have to start by verifying yourself. That's the first thing you do. You verify yourself. And whatever information you verify, then you can ask for other people. So you only get out what you put in. That's the fairness and equity of the app. So you can't request other people's verified information if you haven't verified your information yourself. And so we built this app. We anchored it, logically. We said, okay, how do we do that? I know nothing. I knew nothing. I know a little bit today, but I knew zero about identity. I was a internet car guy, I was building a lot of, the 25 years of software development and application experience, but nothing about I knew zero about ID, zero, nothing. I didn't know what the SSI meant. And so, when I went to solve a problem, this problem I was experiencing with sort of peer-to-peer commerce, I stumbled upon W3C, and this sort of love, and I'm a believer, I'm a passionate believer in this belief that consumers should own their information and have access to it. And so that's a long way of saying I didn't start an SSI company. I didn't start a decentralized identity company. I didn't start a blockchain company. I started a company that was built to solve a fundamental everyday problem of consumers, which is how do you verify people, that are coming to your home to walk your dog, when you're going on Facebook Marketplace, stuff like this, or when you're dating. That's the stuff we think about solving.
That is amazing.
It makes sense? Maybe it doesn't make sense. I don't know,
No, that made a lot of sense. Because like when you said the car stuff, I'm like, I remember when I think I was like 19 and my boyfriend at the time, well, my husband now, he wanted to buy a car and like he paid all this money and he essentially got scammed. I'm like, this makes total sense.
Yeah, completely. I mean, look, this is the through line here, Rizel, whether it's dating, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, whatever it is, the through line is there's bad people out there. Okay. Yeah. There's bad people that want to, it's not a majority, but there's bad people that want to do bad things to good people. Okay. Yeah. That's what you got to realize. And the other thing you have to realize is that it's only getting worse with AI. Modern AI basically can pass the Turing test, which basically is the test of, are you a human or are you a machine? And so you have to start to use biometrics to disambiguate, machine from human. You have to. That's where we're going. So it's not just bad people with bad intentions, it's bad technology. It's technology is agnostic, right? But it's bad people using technology for bad ends.
100%. I think it's time to just find out how you've gone about this. Maybe share the slide. Or
Well, let's talk about this. Let's go to that. Let's go to that slide really quickly. The internet. So this is. Do you guys remember this cartoon? Maybe I'm too old here.
I don't know this.
I think I'm too young.
Your dog. Somebody from the audience, please raise their hand. Somebody tell me that I'm not the oldest guy here on the audience. This is the most famous cartoon. This is the most famous cartoon in the history of the internet. On the internet, nobody knows you're a dog.
I'm too young.
What's that? Yeah, you're too young.
Oh, yeah, we got someone. Okay. We got someone.
Somebody out there? Yeah, I've seen it before. Okay, good.
Angie said nope.
Yeah. So this is the thing, is that this is the old cartoon that basically, this is like, I don't know, 30 years old, right? Or something like that. And it's basically like, you can be anybody you want to be on the internet, right? And this was a big revelation back then. Like, oh my God, you can be anybody you want to on the internet, right? Mm-hmm. So this is the point I was making about the native identity layer on the internet. So anyway, so I'll go. Okay, so let me show you a little bit. Let me tell you a bit about before we do a demo. Let me tell you a bit about what the application does. Okay, so it's free to consumers. We have lots of enterprises that use it. We have a big enterprise business. We have companies like AARP, who I'm sure nobody in your audience knows, but it's the American Association of Retired People. It's the largest not-for-profit in the United States. It has 38 million members. Okay, there's more members of AARP than there are crypto owners in the United States. It's a huge group of people. So they've invested in Dentity because they're interested in fighting romance scams. So one of the biggest issues facing the elderly population is romance scams. People targeting the elderly to take their money. So we're working with them on a bunch of exciting solutions. So what the application does is we use what's called visual ID verification. Okay, and you guys have seen this before. But so what you do is you have to present a document, right? The front of a document, the back of a document, and then you have to do a live selfie. Okay, front, back, live selfie. It takes about 2 minutes, okay? And once you've completed that, then we create, we provision a verifiable credential. We create a digital wallet. We use, we create cloud custodial wallets, and we use Azure. So we use the Azure Key Vault, and those wallets are created up in Azure. We create a decentralized identifier, a DID, for the wallet, and we typically don't anchor DIDs. We don't anchor holder DIDs on chain. We anchor issuer DIDs on chain. And so that's just part of our own unique strategy. We use DID method ION, and we anchor to Bitcoin. And so that's a little bit of the technical part of it. So I come in, I verify my identity, front of license, back of license, selfie. We create a wallet, we create a credential, an identity credential. And then once you have that credential, you basically you can use that anywhere, and you can share it with people, right? That's sort of the whole thing. It's all based on peer-to-peer sharing. So I think the demo that we're going to show, Rizel, is here it is right here. Okay, so this basically is a demo. We start with kind of an enterprise, one of our enterprise pop-ups that sort of instigates. You put your phone number in. So let me just stop right here really quickly. So that basically, let me just go right there. So every ID verification starts with a link that's sent to somebody's mobile phone. We always move people to the mobile phone because it's just, it's just a better experience. So whether you're doing it peer-to-peer or an enterprise is doing it with you, we send the link. So this link will take you to the right here, which is the start of our ID verification process. Okay, so the very first thing that we're going to have you do is we're going to have you enter your mobile phone number again, your first number, your first name, and your last name. Okay, and then we're going to ask you for your address, and we're going to ask you for your birth date. Now, the reason we're doing all this, I'm just going to stop it for a moment, is because we're using this data, right? And we're making sure that the data that you present on your license or your passport, by the way, we can do 16,000 different documents today in 200 countries. So if there's anybody out there that ever wants to use us, in a different country, it's not a problem. We do just about every country, and we do just about every document in every country.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
someone was just asking.
Yeah.
Sorry. Someone was just asking, how do you verify that the proof document is valid? So if you have like a backlog of that size, I think that kind of answers that question.
Yeah. So we've mapped all those documents, Ace, and what we do is, you'll see here in a second, is that we take a front and back of the license, and it takes 20 seconds. While we're doing that, we're going through a bunch of different fraud scenarios, font injections, Photoshop artifacts. We're analyzing the document, all the elements of every document to make sure that those are consistent with an authentic document. Some documents like the passport have what's called an MRZ, a machine readable zone. So we're able to extract data from there as well. So we go through this process here. Looking here. Okay, so right there, you can see those 5 documents: driver's ID, passport, residency card, and an ID card. Okay, so basically these are the documents that we use in the United States. But like if you're in South Korea, they might be 5 different documents or 3 documents. So depending on what country you're in, we'll pull different documents. And so in this case, somebody's going to use a license. So we'll scan front, we'll scan back, and then the machine is going to think for 20 seconds. And what it's doing now, it's doing 2 things. First, it's going through the analysis of the actual document, and it's going through an analysis of the network and a bunch of other. We pull a ton of other signals as well, and then also the data. We're analyzing the data. You'll basically, at this process, we'll ask you for a selfie. And I'm just going to make one point here when we get to the selfie. Okay, so this right here. So you see how this is. You You see how this is a live video? So this is a live video. I'm going to show it to you in a second. So we were originally using a two-dimensional turn left, turn right, things like this, right? And what we found is that those were more easily spoofed by sort of advanced technology. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. So what we did is we integrated a 3D video, right? And the video has many more perspectives and angles and things like that. And it's more AI spoof proof.
Love it.
So you see that? See that there? There you go. So this only takes now 5 seconds.
That's cool.
There you go. And so what'll happen here is basically you'll get to a point where it says you're verified. And then this box on the right will close. The webhook will close right there. So in this application, like this would be an application for like an e-commerce provider. And what would happen is that modal on the right, the webhook would within like 3 or 4 seconds would close that box on the right. And so at this point, what's happened, Ace, is that we've created a digital wallet for you. We've issued verifiable credentials into your wallet, and we've created a DID for the wallet. And in some cases, we may anchor it somewhere or not. So that, in essence, is the process. It takes 2 minutes. The beauty of it is you do it once, you never have to do it again, ever, ever, ever. So what I'm going to show you now is the beauty of reusable identity, right? So the beauty of this is that you do it once, you never have to do it again, right? So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through that same process a second time. And what you're going to find, you put your phone number in. You're going to get the link. You're going to click on the link. And in less than 10 seconds, you've just verified your identity. Boom, done, boom. So that's right. That's magic. Okay. So the thing, Rizel, is that, and this amazes me. Like when I see consumers go through this process a second time, like they do it the first time, they're like, oh, this sucks. It takes too much time. I'm like, just commit yourself to 2 minutes of your life to doing it, right? Because once you do it, then you don't have to keep entering data information into a web form again. So you do it once, you go through this process. It's magic. It's like people go, oh my God, wait, you mean I never have to enter all my information again, ever again? I'm like, yes, this is magic, right? And you can't really see, there's a bunch of stuff going on in the background and the URLs and whatnot, but this is the magic of reusable self-sovereign identity, is that, you own it, and you never have to do it again. Now, the other thing that I could show you is I could show you our OIDC demo, our OpenID Connect demo, and basically that if I can pull that one up, but I'll pull it up right now. But basically, that's the online verification of your identity credential, and that's really the key. Like, when you log in with Facebook or log in with Google, right? That's OpenID Connect, right? Using OAuth 2, it's server-to-server authentication, and the ability we built a OIDC app that is available in the Auth0 Okta marketplace. If somebody wants to go up there, we have an approved enterprise connection, and so that is how because look, you have to verify. Like it's all like if you at this point you have two out of the three pieces in the triangle, right? You have the issuer. We've issued you a credential. You have the holder, right? You're the holder, the subject of the identity. Now you need to verify it. So the third part of the triangle is I'm going to find another video file here. One second, one moment. Okay, it is right here. One second. Okay, OIDC demo. Okay, let's go here. So can you pull that up, Ace? There you go. Okay, so basically this shows a configuration. This is obviously just an example, right? We're using, I think, Chase there. So when you configure an OIDC client, you basically need a couple things. You need the client secret and you need the client ID. So in order to, you can configure your own OIDC client, in your own stack or in your own ping identity or wherever you have your identity stuff. And you need those two. You need to pull down those two. You can see those two elements right there. So this basically what you do is you come over to Dentity, you create a free account, and we'll allow you to create this OIDC client. You get to put the logo in and the privacy policy and all that stuff. And then also you need to put the redirect link. So once you log in, like you log in with Facebook, right? Then where do you get redirected to? So that's sort of the issue. So same thing as log in with Facebook or Google. Usually they use email. We use mobile. So we'll send you an OTP. And what we're doing right now is we're authenticating that you control the wallet. So we've just authenticated the wallet. And then right there, hold on a second. So right there, what you see is that this client was configured to verify that credential, that verified identity credential. But you know what? You may have 100 other credentials in your wallet, right? You may have, I'm a member of, a certain association, or whatever it is. And the beauty of verifiable credentials versus NFTs is that they're divisible. And so the thing with an NFT is that it's you have to take the entire NFT. So the beauty of this verifiable credentials data model is that you can slice it apart. So let's say that you have 100 credentials in your wallet, and you want to make a claim about things that are across 5 different credentials, right? That you're a male, that you're over 21, that you're a member of an organization, that you're maybe a member of of a military or something like that. That data likely exists in different credentials in your wallet. And so using this data model, you can present, it's called a presentation, right? A verifiable presentation. So you can present a claim from credentials in different parts of your wallet. And then this is the relying party. This is the verifier. So this is the other beautiful thing about self-sovereign identity, SSI, right? Right here. So let's stop there. So when you log in with Facebook, okay, that relying party, call it Airbnb. Like you log into Airbnb with your Facebook account. Like, you don't get to decide. You don't get to decide what information Airbnb is getting from your Facebook account, right? They get to decide, and that's wrong, right? So the beauty of this new sort of I own my data, I control it, is that you get to decide what data you share with whom. It's your decision, right? It's your decision, and so this is a great visual for, hey, I want them to know my first name, I want them to know my age, but I don't want them to know my birthday. Like, you don't need to know my birthday. And by the way, we can even present a claim where we can, you can make a claim. We can prove that you're 21 without you having to provide any information at all, right? So this is the beauty of self-sovereign identity and consumer control, and it's also the beauty of the app we've built. Frankly, it's very elegant and beautiful, and we have a lot of relying parties use it. So I'm going to agree. I'm going to agree to share certain information. And I'm going to click agree, and then I'm going to be redirected to some link probably on the Chase Bank site. Yeah, there it is right there. Okay, so that is a great, that's a great example. I hope a good example of the 3 sides of the trust triangle, right? So, the issuer, we issued the credential, right? You hold the credential, and then Chase Bank just verified the credential. Sorry to talk so much. It's a lot of talking. I apologize.
No, it was amazing.
Yeah. And we have a ton of questions. I'm going to start with the most recent one because I think it also applies to the example you just showed. And it's basically asking, one second. Oh, bad. As you showed the financial use case, have you taken any financial services into production with VCs and OpenID for VC model? Or are organizations open to switching their KYC process to this new stack?
Yeah, we have we've got probably 100, maybe 120 enterprise accounts now. We have $1 billion auto lender that is in full production, and they've got about 250 banks, I think, on their platform. And then we've got we have a it's going to be, wait for it, because I can't announce it, but we have a major, I would say major fintech, like a fintech that you know of in your daily conversations, that is very close to adoption. So we're pretty close on it.
Nice. The next question we have is, how do you verify the proof? Documents, we already went past this, I think. And then the next question on top of it was, are Brazilian docs supported?
Absolutely.
And there's a follow. Awesome. There's a follow-up to this, which basically asks, how does this ensure that your verification service is compliant with government regulations, standards, and if possible, in the specific case of Brazil?
Yep. So I wonder if, let me go into I don't know if we have this in this document. Hold on a second. I just want to see here.
Okay.
Yeah. So look, we have a number of patents in digital identity. One of the things that I realized, and I don't want to bore your users with all this stuff, but like one of the things I realized in being in this industry is that everybody uses a different standard. Like everybody's talking about this in a different way, right? And the thing that you have to understand is that if you want to create enterprise, like reuse of identity credentials, like I can reuse it, at a bunch of different enterprise businesses, you have to have a standard, right? Like, let me ask you a question. If you're going to trade, buy and sell diamonds or pork or timber or anything in a market, there's a standard, right? If there isn't a standard, there's no liquidity. There's no counterparties to trade with you, right? Because you're selling me something and I'm like, well, I don't know the standard, right? And so in order for there to be liquidity in any marketplace, you have to have a standard. So what we've done is we've created a number of patents in this area. We've created a standard of 5 different identity levels. And one of the identity levels integrates AML, KYC, OFAC. We're compliant with the FATF travel rule, the international crypto travel rule, $1,000. We're compliant with, the Department of Commerce digital identity guidelines. We have other standards that specifically relate to strength of evidence. NIST 863 is a U.S. Requirement for certain strengths of evidence. We have a standard for that. So if you're a U.S. regulated, broker dealer and you need a certain strength of evidence, so we've taken all of those into consideration, and we don't look at the Brazilian guidelines. Honestly, we're a U.S. based company, but we do look at the FATF, the Financial Advisory Task Force, which is the international version, I would say, of the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act is the anti-terrorism, anti-money laundering act in the U.S. We're compliant with that, and we're compliant with what as we understand it, compliant with the FATF, which would be the international version of that. So a long way of saying we have standards. You can come into our system and you can say, I need an identity level 4. Like if you're a fintech, you need an identity level 4 because it's compliant with AML. We do all the notaries in the U.S., the National Notary Association, all the notaries, for the home loans and stuff like that. They don't need international terrorist watch list compliance, right? They come in at an identity level 3. We have others that just want to prove liveness. They come in at an identity level 2. So we have all these different levels figured out. Make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense to me. There was a last question from Vox Rocks. I don't know if it's really that similar, but like one other question was just like, if I onboard a service that uses Dentity to verify my biometrics, can I use that verification for the service that uses ID.me?
So the answer is today no. ID.me is its own service, and they use something very similar to what we use. But this is the problem. This is the problem with the industry where we are right now, right? And I'm, you heard me talk about, make a big plea for collaboration and cooperation, right? This is the problem: is that unless we're collaborating with everybody, the consumer loses, right? And if we don't collaborate, we're never going to make progress. Like it's going to be the big institutions, the big platforms that end up crushing us. So this is a great example, right? Like ID.me has an ID verification system. They keep their verifications up in some database. The data is not fully decentralized in a digital wallet like ours is. I think it might be at some point. I think the consumer has to go there and create their wallet, do all this other stuff. But we should be able. You should be able to use credentials across Dentity, ID.me, any service on the internet. Otherwise, it's a loser for consumers, right? So this is why I'm such an advocate for cooperation. We all have to cooperate, right? And this is, let me tell you, just to get a little semi-technical, one of the problems now is that there's 50 DID standards and there's 50 different credential formats, right? We use JSON LD. We anchor DID ion, DID key. We do some other DID methods. But the problem now that I see, and I'm not a developer, right? I'm not a developer at all. But the problem that I'm seeing in these conversations is, well, what kind of creds do you? Well, we issue anon creds, or we issue JSON LD creds. We issue all these. So now there's all this sort of like, what credential format to use now, and what DID method to use. So we're just basically recreating the confusion and complexity. In my view, again, I'm not a developer, but I see it as a business person. We're starting to recreate a lot of the confusion and complexity that we were trying to solve, right? So this is one of the problems as a business person that I'm trying to deal with.
Yeah, and I feel like that answered the next question a little bit around like what were the primary factors that led you to support DID ion, and do you support additional? You just said you do DID key as well.
Yeah. But look, this is the answer. The answer is it's so early today that at some level it doesn't really matter, right? So I'm just going to be really candid with you, right? Like there's a bunch of people that are well-intentioned developers, whomever. They're sitting in an echo chamber, right? They're talking to themselves, right? You know what really matters? The technology. This is not a technology problem, Rizel. This is an adoption problem. This is not a technology problem. It's an adoption problem. And so, we can argue about DID ion, DID key, DID web. It doesn't matter. So what I would say is, you bring me a use case where there's really like a great use case with like issuer holder verifier. There's a developed ecosystem of use and reuse of credentials. I'll use whatever DID method you want. It doesn't matter to me. Like, you can anchor multiple DIDs on multiple chains. It doesn't matter. In fact, this is probably, oh, Jeff, you're preaching, my guy. I love it. Is that good or bad?
That's good.
Okay, that's good. But look, this is what I would tell you. I'm going to make another statement that you may think is blasphemy. The blockchain is the least interesting thing about self-sovereign identity. It is. It's the least interesting thing about certainly our business. Like you could do Dentity without blockchain. You just anchor to another trusted database, right? So what really matters here is not all the theory around blockchain and SSI. What matters is, look, I'm out there every single day standing up use cases every single day. We do all this music stuff. I was at 10 music festivals this summer doing identity and building wallets for tens of thousands of people, right? So what matters is like getting people to use the technology, like getting people finding use cases, Ace and Rizel, where they're like, I'm a KYC guy, like I'm an identity guy, right? We have millions of other, lot of other use cases, credentials, and organizations and stuff. But I think the fat use case here is identity and age and identity, and like so we do all the age verification for like Turning Point Brands, which is like the largest seller of consumables in the U.S. They're a public company, and what's fascinating is we're seeing every week we see 30% of their buyers reusing an identity credential. 30% are reuse cases, so that's good. That's really good. The other encouraging thing is we do all the notaries. They have to verify their identity every year.
Yeah.
Year one, 20%, 20% did it. Guess what the number is in year two? Almost 40%. And you know why? It's because when they go back to use that identity, when they go back to reuse the identity, it's easy. So this is the encouraging stuff for me, is when I see now it's taking some time, but when I see you see signs of adoption where people are like, oh, I get it. I'm gonna do this because it's so easy. It's easier than entering all your data and having to get your license out. So what really matters here is adoption, right? No, I'm just I'm just going to give you one high level as an entrepreneur. Okay. This is a race. Okay. I'll tell you what the race is. The race is between, startups getting to distribution, right? Or incumbents, the old companies, getting to innovation. So this is the race. The race is, do we get to distribution faster than the old incumbent guys get to innovation? That's what this is about, right? We have to get to distribution. We have to find distribution. We're not worried about innovation. Like, we're innovating, right? We're innovating. It's the big companies that are slow to innovate. We're innovating. We have to find distribution, and that's what the focus has to be.
Yeah, I love that. I love that even you were talking about, it doesn't really matter about the did method, because the person using it, they don't know. They're not like, oh crap, this is using did.
Look, Rizel, let me tell you one thing, okay? People don't wake up in the morning and say, I want to be decentralized, right? They don't say, oh, I got to be decentralized today. Like, it's absurd. It's absurd. They don't care about blockchain. They don't care about SSI. They don't care about did method. They don't care about decent. They don't care about trustless. They don't care about any of that. So it's all bullshit to them.
Yeah.
What they want to do is they want to solve real world, everyday problems. They're going on a date. They're buying something from Craigslist. They're inviting a dog walker to their home, whatever it is. Like, those are the things that they want. They want to solve real problems, and they don't care about the technology. They don't. They just don't. No, look, you're in a group where everybody cares about technology. Fine. Peace. That's great. Everybody on this group cares about technology. Outside of this group, not many people care about technology. They care about solving real world problems and real live use cases, right? So my comment always is, no offense to Discord, but get off the Discord server. Like, everybody talks about the cold start problem. That's the reason there's a cold start problem, is because people are in these echo chambers, and they're not out, in North Carolina, trying to verify identities. And that's what we do every day. And that's why we have 400,000 credentials on the platform. And that's why, by the way, in the last year, we've grown from 25,000 to 400,000, and we'll get to 2 million this year. And the reason why is because we're standing up real world, everyday use cases.
Yeah. So oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, there's a question in chat that's been there for a while, and you've kind of touched on it, but I also want to take you back a bit on the topic of adoption. And since that's one of the most important things, it also kind of forces people to change. So there's a question in chat that says, why not use some of the old? It's a long question, by the way, but if we can find a way to do some of these new innovative things with older tech, what is the difference between positioning Dentity as a verifier and hosting of the wallet? And although you've already talked a bit about this, I also wanted you to take this question into perspective and also answer it from one of the things you've already explained.
That's a very complicated question. I need to read it. I'm sorry. I'm not that smart. It is the verifier and hosting the wallet and authenticating users in the wallet. Okay, so in other words, what are we getting out of DIDs and VCs? So the benefit is to consumers, right? Because the digital wallet is better than storing in asymmetric cryptography in a wallet is better than storing all the data in a database, right? So if somebody came along today and they wouldn't find a honeypot of data at Dentity, they'd find 500,000 wallets that need to be using AES 256 encryption. They'd have to be cracked. So the benefit is that the credential is the data is a preferable data form than entering data into a web form, right? Because the thing is that all that data that we enter just goes into a database. Anything that sits in a big database is going to get lost. I mean, it's going to get lost and stolen. The ultimate benefit of SSI, of true self-sovereign identity. Look, tell me when there's 100 million wallets, Web3 wallets out there, then let's talk, right? Right now, you know how many people have asked me about, can I have the keys to my wallet? Zero, right? Like these people, this is big, the thing is, look, we're not solving Web3 use cases. We're not trying to, gate a Discord server with a guild credential. Like, that's not who we are. You know what I mean? Like, we're not, those are like small niche, AARP's 38 million members. Like, we're solving problems for like real world problems, and that's the thing, is that, we get in this echo chamber of the stuff that's so important to us, on Discord and all these sort of wallets and crypto and all that stuff, like those are going to be really big use cases. But today, the real use cases, the big use cases, are what I'll call the Web 2, the real world use cases. So I think at some point, all the magic of self-sovereign identity is going to present itself. And we're basically laying the infrastructure today. So the question is, what benefit do you get? Probably not a lot right now. There's probably not a lot of benefit, but we're except for the privacy, and benefits, and the security benefits. But I think all these benefits will present themselves. Look, this is what we need. We need verifiers. We need relying parties. Like when you can go and use your Dentity credential to log into hotels.com or whatever, like then these things really start to make sense. But it's going to take years for this sort of ecosystem of adoption to take place.
That is massive. Thank you for answering that.
Yeah. But I'm speaking the truth, aren't I? And it's going to take some time.
Yeah, you're preaching.
Sure that's preaching. Yeah.
Angie said you're preaching. Let me bring that up again. Yeah, you're preaching.
Yeah, meaning I'm telling the truth, right?
Yeah, telling the truth.
Yeah. This is the problem. This is the problem, Ace, is that we need more focus on adoption. We need more focus on adoption. And so like it's great that we're building. It's great that we're building all this great tech. We're on a layer 2 platform. Okay, there's 250 or 300 developers or use cases up there. We're 10x the number of we issue 10x the number of credentials as all the rest of the 250 combined. So this is the problem, Ace. The problem is that it's tough. It's easy to create a little MVP, show how you can do it. What's really hard is actually getting distribution for it and solving a real problem out there. So my encouragement is, find use cases where we can create adoption. And by the way, call me, email me, Jeffrey, Jeffrey @dentity.com, and we'll help you because we're collaborators. Like we are collaborators. We want to help stand up all these use cases. We have the technology, Jeffrey, not ERY, REY.
Yeah, actually, one of the next messages was. Yeah, some of the next messages was, can they reach out to you for partnership? And I think you just already answered that. And that's just perfect. Next question is, are you hiring?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the answer is yes, kind of, sort of. So we have I think we've got about a dozen engineers. It goes between 12 and 15 engineers depending on what we're working on. There we go, Jeffrey at Dentity. It goes between probably a dozen to 15, maybe even some more engineers, depending. We're definitely always looking for great talent, and we're raising a little capital right now. So this is a plug for us. So anybody out there listening, please contact me. We're definitely raising some capital now. So if we can raise a little more capital here in the spring, we're definitely gonna bring on a handful of more engineers. We need it. Because we're building, use cases, all the time. So, yeah.
Awesome. Probably the last question before we go to Rizel's powerful questions. You mentioned Dentity is consumer focused, so people build trust. So, how do the enterprise deals you have work alongside this goal?
You mentioned Dentity is consumer focused to help people build trust. How do the enterprise deals you have work alongside this? And excellent. Okay, that's an excellent question. In fact, let me show you on our. Let me go to our slide here. This slide. Oh, there you go. So this is just an example of some of our enterprise cases. So we accept and take enterprise cases. Now we have a portal. You can log in. Anybody can sign up. We have enterprises sign up every week now. But what we really focus on is use cases where the stakeholder, the consumer, is getting high value and there's a lot of reuse, right? So we typically don't like to do. I mean, we do them because it's business, but we're not really out looking for one time, like verify once and then be gone. So we're looking for, like, the notaries is a great example. So the notaries, there's about 120,000 notaries that do 100% of the mortgages in America. You have to go through our program to do identity every year. You verify your background, identity, and notary commission. So now what we're doing with the notaries is they've created a portal called findanotary.com. So you can display your credential up there. We're doing use cases where the notaries are engaging with the signer. So, we're sending credentials to people that are signing documents. And so that's a use case where we're getting, issuer, holder, and verifier kind of in the sort of trust triangle. So we love those use cases. South by Southwest, we did all the music credentials for all the music events. We love that one because we, you use it, you reuse it. There's a lot of reuse there. So we're always looking for enterprise cases where consumers can use and reuse the credential. I mean, this is kind of an interesting point. Like, why now? Why are we doing this now? Right? It's a good question. So I would say a few things. First, the W3C open identity standards. Second, the emergence of blockchain. The growth of the P2P kind of internet. This sort of consumer to consumer internet and sharing economy business models never been greater. And then AI. The malignancies of the internet and AI, and AI's ability to accelerate the malignancies of the internet is a key reason why we're driven to it today.
Wow. I think this is super exciting. It made me super fired up.
Yeah, it's cool, right? It's really cool. Look, I always say that we set out, to help consumers build Olympic levels of trust with strangers online, right? That's sort of how we started. And we came up with a radically different solution. Like, our solution is radically different, right? Like, think about what the consumers have today, right? What do they have today? If you want to verify somebody online, you can use ratings, you can use reviews, you can look at a social media profile, you can rely on the platforms, which is complete BS. The platforms, you can't rely on these platforms to verify the identity of their users. You cannot, right? Facebook deletes 1 billion accounts a quarter, right? You can't rely on them to verify their identity. They have business model considerations, everything like that. You can go and pay a bunch of money for a public record search, or, by the way, you can do what most people do, which is do nothing. Use intuition. Okay, so I'll give you the example, give you the choices. Intuition, do nothing. Ratings, reviews, social media profiles. Go out and spend a bunch of money on a public record search. They're all bad. They're all bad use case. They're all bad, choices. So what we've done is we've done this. We've given the consumer enterprise grade tech. And we've given them a way to sort of share it in a social way and using biometrics and stuff. So that's our solution. We think it's different. Consumers seem to be adopting it. We want to work with everybody. Like, call us. We got the tech. It's here. You can create an account on Dentity for free, enterprise account. We'll engage with you. We'll talk with you. We got great APIs. We have tons of different ways to integrate. But call us. We got developer advocates. We got people that will stand up for you. We'll put you in a Slack channel with our devs. We'll do everything that we can to help you and support you. If you have a use case that's real, because we're not chasing BS, like esoteric use cases. Yeah. And by the way, we're not chasing use cases that require 10 years for adoption. Like, that's not our game. No, we're doing it every day. You know why? Ace? I'll tell you why. Because you have millions of counterparties out there every day. You have millions of relying parties out there every day. Instead of waiting 10 years for a university or a government to adopt, why don't you go out and do something with the consumer? Because they're out there every day. They need it. They'll use it. It's hard. It's not easy, but
they're right there.
That's right. They're right there. You don't have to wait 10 years for a government or a healthcare company or a university to adopt it. That's my theory.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeff.
Yeah. Awesome. Angie said, "I like this guy."
Look, I'm here. The thing is, I am who I am. I don't have, at 58, I don't have to be anybody other than who I am, like everybody else is taken. I'm me, that's who I am. So I have that luxury. But look, we welcome the community. We come and can chat with us, call us, talk to us. We want to help. Like, we are advocates for what you guys are advocating to. We are out there We're trying to stand it. We're collaborating. You know, we talk to some people and they're like, "Oh, we're competitive." I'm like, "That's bullshit. We're not competitive, right? Like, you think we're competitive, but we're all going to compete ourselves, and then all the big guys are going to win. We're all going to get blown up." So my big thing, Rizel and Ace, is tell people to collaborate. You've got to collaborate.
Yeah.
We all have to collaborate. We all have to work together, or else we're all done.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's part of my motivation for the stream. I'm like, I want to.
I love it.
And it's amazing.
Yeah.
Before we go to
anytime I can help Rizel, you know, I'm Mr. Collaboration. So enlist me anytime. I'm always here.
Awesome. My next question before we go to Rizel's final question is actually going to be at the beginning of the stream. You mentioned something about sharing life advices, you know, your experience, and I was going to ask if you had one advice, just in general, over your 58 years, like you mentioned, for the audience, for me, Rizel, for anybody, what would that advice be?
So advice in terms of being an entrepreneur?
No, just in general, life, I guess.
Okay. How many minutes do you have? No, really. Can I tell you? I have something amazing to share with you. If you have a few minutes, you have a few minutes, or we don't have a few minutes.
I think
okay.
It's up to you. I don't have to.
Okay. If you guys have any place to go, let me tell you. I have something amazing to share with you. So I told you that I give sometimes I teach at universities and whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to show you. How do I? Okay, I'm going to share a presentation. I'm going to share slides. Okay.
Okay.
Watch this. You're going to love this. This is going to be. This hopefully will be a treat for you. From your computer. Okay, 1 second. Okay, no, right here. Desktop. I'm going to share with you a presentation that I gave at the University of Texas Business School. I don't know, a month ago or something like that. But it basically will go through. Basically goes through a bunch of my advice to young entrepreneurs as they're here it is right here. My advice to young entrepreneurs as they're graduating business school and thinking about starting their own businesses. You got that there? Okay, University of Texas Business School. Okay, so I'm not going to go through this. This is entirely uninteresting. Okay, 5 things I've learned along the way. Okay, you ready for this, Rizel?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Take notes. Okay. The fastest way to make a lot of money is take a long time doing it. There are no shortcuts. So everybody thinks there are shortcuts, and there aren't. Okay. You have to put the work in, and it just takes time. Now, I'm going to give you a story about an old friend of mine. 25 years ago, I was with an old friend of mine who had a business, and he was sending these little plastic discs to people by mail. Okay. And he and I were fellows at the Aspen Institute. And I said, my friend Reed, this is the dumbest business model I've ever heard of in my life. This is the stupidest thing. I said, trust me, get out of this business. He said, Jeff, it's going to take some time, but trust me, this is going to be a good business. And do you know who that was? Reed Hastings, who was the founder of Netflix.
You're friends with him?
Yeah, of course. So Reed had a very long-term approach. He knew that the fastest way to make a lot of money was to take a long time doing it. Okay. So, most startups drown, they don't starve. So this is something that I see with a lot of startups. They try to solve too big of a problem, Ace. They take too big of a bite at the apple. It's too big, right? The thing about a good startup is it solves a very niche problem, a very small problem, and that's how you keep your startup fed, right? You don't drown. The cold start problem. I've already told you about this. Get off the Discord server, get out of the echo chamber. We've already talked about it.
Yeah.
Perfect is the enemy of the good. So founders and developers can't deal with this imperfect product, right? They're like, they have this sort of vision of, well, the product it's not ready. I can't get it out to market. It's not ready. It's not perfect. Well, that cognitive dissonance is what kills startups. Like, create a product, get it in market, talk to consumers, listen to them, get feedback, iterate the product. It's the only way to do this. I could give you 100 examples of my friends who have told them, get a product out. They spend $1 million building something, and then they get it out. It's not right. It's never going to be right. But just get it out there and work on it. Make sense?
100%.
Okay. And then I made this point about being a tech tourist. Don't start an internet business, blockchain, or AI business. Solve a problem and leverage the tech that you need.
That's very tied to your answer earlier. You
Yeah.
did not build a
Yeah,
SSI
totally.
business.
Okay,
which is-
I'm going to give you one last point. One last point. Sorry.
No
Parting
worries.
thoughts. Okay, the past is history, the future a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why they call it the present.
Well,
Live in the moment. Live in the moment. You know, everybody's worried about tomorrow and the future. Live in the moment. Be present. And to that point, money matters, but quality is
king.
absolute. You know, absolutely king. Anything of value that in life that anything in life that's of value multiplies when it's given. So generosity, humanity, sincerity, understanding, compassion. Those are the things. Those are the qualities in life that matter. It doesn't matter. Money matters, right? But like, look, you know, give the things to people in life that matter, and then they multiply. You know, understanding, compassion, patience. You know, those are the things that I tell people. Those are the things that I try to cultivate in my life every day. Does that make sense? And then finally, read Jonathan Livingston Seagull. This is the advice I give every business school student. It's a very easy, short read. Have you guys read Jonathan Livingston Seagull?
I've never read it.
Pick it up today. It's a short read. You'll read it in a day. But it's a life-changing book, and it's about pursuing your own path and being your own person.
Wow.
So those are my life lessons. I bet you didn't expect that today.
No, I didn't.
You've gotten my spirituality. You've gotten my spirituality. Now you understand me as a human being.
Thank you for sharing. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Sure. I'm happy we had the time.
I love it. We got SSI. We got life advice as well. I think this is a great stream. All right. So I'm gonna transition us to like some of the fun questions as well.
Okay.
This was really great. First question is, what's your favorite food?
Pickles, I would say. I always eat pickles. I love pickles. Yeah. I love Mexican food. But like every day, I eat pickles every day.
I love it. Okay. And then my other question to you is, if you could have a superpower, any superpower, what would it be?
Oh God. Oh, that's so hard. You know,
I'm actually curious.
You know, I don't, you know, because this is sort of a generational thing for me, because I'm not like a superhero kind of guy, you know. I would say, you know, like the ability to like be transported in time, you know, I think that would be cool. I don't know what superhero that is, but I always, you know, I'm less interested in the future, and I'm more interested in thinking about things in the past and decisions I made in the past. And like, if I would have made a different decision, you know, like if you could put yourself, like, I remember that, like, I could have had this job or done this business or taken this company this way.
Space and time.
Yeah. Space and time is pretty important to me.
I like that. That's cool. And then we did ask you your favorite meme, and you sent us this video, so I'm gonna drop it.
I love this. I love anybody who hasn't seen this. Everybody who hasn't seen this commercial. My boyfriend is a French model. It's the Allstate insurance commercial. Hysterical. And you know, the thing I love about it, and it's so relevant to me today, because she says, yeah, they can't put anything on the internet that isn't true. I'm like, it's so funny, right? Isn't that funny? It's hysterical. So watch that commercial. Did you put that? Oh, you put that in? Did you put that in there?
Yeah, put that in chat.
Okay, cool.
And then last but not least, this is my most important question. What's your favorite Beyonce song?
Oh God. Can I tell you? I missed that one. I have no idea.
Oh no.
Really, no. I'm sorry. Now you're gonna hate me.
No,
you're gonna absolutely hate me. I'm not real so much a Beyonce fan, but I probably should know that. You want to help me, Rizel? Who's your favorite Beyonce? What's your favorite Beyonce song?
I have a lot.
Yeah.
It depends.
By the way, I'm a big Jay-Z fan.
Okay. Jay-Z's one of our investors. Or on our board or something. He's on our board.
I'm a big Jay-Z fan. Yeah, big Jay-Z fan.
What's your favorite Jay-Z song?
Huh?
What's your favorite
like
Jay-Z
New York,
song?
Empire State, probably.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
Probably, yeah. I love it.
Close to home, right?
Yeah, close. I'm close. One degree of separation. But look, this is what happens when you interview 58-year-old guys. Right? Like, you know, you miss sometimes some part of the that streaming culture. I don't exactly. Hopefully, it was entertaining for you guys, and hopefully, it was informational. Amazing. And I would just say, like, come chase me down. Hit me up on LinkedIn. Find me at Jeffrey at Dentity. Check us out on the web. We want to help. We're here.
Yeah, this was
awesome.
Really. Yeah, Ace, do you have any last words?
Yeah, as usual, just thank you so much, Jeff. This was very educative. So much fun at the same time. Thank you for taking us on your journey through like your experiences, your learnings, and also for everyone in the audience, the amazing questions, the engagements, keeping us also, very curious with different perspectives.
Yeah, really cool. Lots of great questions today.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Awesome stuff. And they tune in every other Friday. So we'll see you guys also next week Friday with someone else.
Okay, cheers.
So thank you so much, Jeff. Thank you, the audience.
Okay, take care, guys. Thank you very much.
Bye,
Bye-bye,
y'all.
everybody.
Tune in next
Bye-bye.
week. We got My Kin. It's basically like ChatGPT with Web 5. Everyone.
All right, take care.